Happy Saturday, everybody! It is August 3rd, 2024. We got the Creative Tech here, Joseph Sunderman. We're going to start here in just a minute. Okay, how is everybody doing today? Again, Joseph Sunderman here, Creative Tech. Just like the rest of you watching this, I consider you a creative tech as well. If you are somebody that is living with intent, on their grind on the daily, loving life, using technology to get those initiatives done, you're a creative tech in my eyes. Anyway, not to label people and be a jerk, but, you know, when you're trying to foster a culture of continuous improvement and education and inclusivity, quit drinking carbonated drinks before the show, during the show. Anyway, I'm excited. We have a great episode for you guys today. We're talking about influence, which is what we're doing here. But we're going to get deep into, you know, why are we influencing and what are we influencing and why influence and how influence helps the creative tech. And it's all about empowerment, right? That's the why. And being able to empower others as an influence, you know, you also have to be seen. You have to be able to get heard and you have to put yourself out there. Social media is great. But we haven't always had social media, and we have great names that have accomplished great things before we had this level of technology and social media. Influence has been around. I mean, the first tribe that really started controlling fire, and then the other tribes saw it, and they're like, "What? How do they have this?" And we don't know how to, you know, we've ran across this fire thing before, but we've never created it ourselves. We don't understand. Someone figured out friction and heat. You do it enough, it burns, it gets hot. Like, oh, you know, like maybe it was friction from, you know, something like somebody before we had words even figured out, put the dots together. And when they did that, they influenced others and empowered others by showing and being visible and everybody being able to carry on. The other tribes, you know, hopefully back then tribes weren't, but you know, they were bumping heads. You know, to me, if I'm a human and I'm part of this small circle tribe and I run into another human that has no idea how to talk or anything, my first thing isn't to be, you know, attack it. But again, you know, you may have hunters out there, you know, these big, like, I don't know, why are we talking about cavemen right now? Bottom line is we've come a long way and the technology doesn't change a damn thing other than making it easier and being able to do more. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. Because once you're visible, once you're able to empower others and you're visible, it's up to you to choose what you do with that. We had an episode back on week 17 or episode 17. I guess that would have been week 19 because I skipped 2 weeks as I'm a loser. Anyway, No, I went on a trip for 2 weeks, and there's a gap there. But on the 17th episode, we did collaboration, and I've noticed that a lot of the talking points are the same, and I'm trying to keep the focus and the topics fresh and rotating these things. And we're already 20 episodes into it, and I'm using single word titles for focuses and topics, and we're starting to overlap words now, which is cool. I'm okay with that. But collaboration is a big part of what we're doing here. Every day I'm collaborating. In fact, I'm trying to get people to collaborate better. I'm trying to become a transformation expert, somebody that helps people. Truly empowering people means their current state isn't giving them their desired state. So to get to that desired state, whatever they do daily right now does not give them that desired state. So a lot of people think I could just hire somebody or get something, and that's going to change the state of things. It's usually the way things are done that gets people to the next level. And why do I got the super overlay up? Hold on. We're getting a small update to the show. You saw the starting shortly little screeny thingy there. Yeah, I'm trying to get fancy with my stuff. So we'll see what happens here. But all right. So what is this show about, real quick? If you're new here, this is Sessions. We pick a focus every week, something that's relevant to what we're building here and helping us get where we're going. And we find 3 topics to talk around that focus, so that way we can all better navigate through life together. How's that? I know nobody's going to want to sit around and watch me for an hour until, somebody that really needs my help and I help them. And the whole thing that we're talking about today, influence and empowerment, visibility, collaboration. These are all things that I'm doing right now, and I'm working hard at it. I'm trying to get better at communication. Communication is a big factor here. In fact, a little backstory, I dropped out of high school. I have had a lot of jobs going on, and I've done well in all those jobs. But the thing is I'd get somewhere, I'd start working there, and I'd get bored. I'd hit a brick wall. I'm not moving forward, and I'm not gaining anything else. There's no more value for me other than the paycheck. And trust me, paychecks are not everything. And I'd end up finding something else or going somewhere else. And rarely would I get fired. I have been fired. And usually if I got fired, it's been 2 times. And I wouldn't say I was fired. I was actually told you either need to quit or we are going to fire you. And so to me, that's being fired. Bottom line is it's usually when I hit and bump heads with management. I remember when I left Sciota Sign Company, I know Sean out there at Sciota Sign Company, I still reach out to him and just say, hey buddy, just letting you know, hope everything's going well. Would love to connect sometime. But, he's always been kind of a cold, very standoffish, very old school. I'm assuming very conservative. I don't know. I played, we went to, when I worked there, he's the owner of the company. And there's a good 20 employees in the factory and in the office altogether. There's about 20 to 30 of us. And it's quite the operation, making metal signs. Sam Adams was a big client at the time. And we just have stacks and stacks of, you get these big sheets of metal, your substrate, you put them in these big screen printing things. It's screen print it. You take the big piece of metal after you get your single, because you can only do one color at a time. You take it, you throw it on the oven, it gets baked, it comes out the other end of the conveyor belt out of the oven, and you take the sign, bring it up front again, and you prep this press. Once you get, maybe there's an order of 50 signs that day, or maybe 1,000 signs. We'd get large orders, tens of thousands of signs, and you'd have stacks of these metal signs. And the way you would do it is that big sheet, you'd have 4 signs. You'd have to print it if it's a 3-color process, a 5-color process, depends on the actual product, and then how many different types of ink there are. And sometimes you got to do the same color twice because there's different levels of ink. Anyway, it was really cool to see, and it was really awesome to get that experience in the creative world, seeing what's viscosity and I had nothing to do with ink, but I was over there when I had to go get ink for my press that I was running. I'd go over there and I'd have to, I would ask, what is it that you are? Yeah. And I remember running those presses out there. I think I was fucking goddamn good at it. And that's the thing, is I love getting good at things. I think, Nathan Murphy, good friend of mine, really, really talented. He's a very smart dude. Nathan's a really good friend. I love Nathan to death. Him and Lacey. Shout out to Lacey and Nathan. But bottom line is I know we were some of the best people out there doing what we did. Mark was really good at it too. I mean, he was precision. Mark, I seen this dude take the biggest hit off a bong and pass the fuck out, like straight up, take a hit off the bong, eyes roll in the back of the head, hits the door, falls to his ass, and we're all just staring at him. Like we all were in shock, just staring at the dude. God, and I remember tripping my balls off. Like I gotta get a hold of Nathan. We need to catch up. I got some great reminiscence to do. Oh. Good times. Don't do drugs. That's bad. I'm not your typical guy, by the way. I did mention that I've had addiction issues. I'm a high school dropout. And I'm going to these conventions with these amazing people that are in business and they've been doing it for decades. And the life that I come from, the journey that I had compared to their, I'm not saying that everybody's had it easy, but I don't know. Some of us have had it worse than others, I guess. But bottom line is it just doesn't. I feel like I'm not exactly I feel like an outcast. I feel like an outsider going into these big fancy. I don't even want to wear a tie and suit anymore. When I worked at Fifth Third, I'd do that shit. But now that I work for myself, I'm showing up in a nice pair of pants and tennis shoes, clean white tennis shoes, nice t-shirt, and I go to these gigs, and I am treated with respect, and I collaborate with people just as if I was wearing a suit and I've been in that scene all my life. Very accepting today's world, and I think a lot of this is the imposter syndrome I have from growing up in Hardin County. So why am I going to all this? Getting on track with the show, the focus is influence. Bottom line, what I'm trying to say is I want to be a great influence. I want this show to have a good structure. I want to be able to bring on guests to sit on this show and discuss things with me that we find important. And that's because we're all influencing. We're all doing our part. And now that I've actually been making some connections, I need to start having people on this show that I'm talking on right now. Here I'm talking about drugs. I'm talking about business. I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about people connecting and people having purpose and having validity in their life and their day-to-day by those around them and then what they do. If you're not doing something that you go home and you feel like you've accomplished something that day, that you've contributed either to someone or something, man, that is dismal. That is a bad place to that's a bad state to be in. Anyway. So influence to me is leading by example. I think you have to be honest with yourself. You have to look at yourself and say, am I living up to the person that I am trying to be? All that good stuff. And if you can start to focus on what you're doing and your accomplishments, and you can start creating and doing stuff, you're going to get good at something, whatever it is. And for me, what I've found and what I've learned along the way is that I've been my biggest barrier to empower other people. My horrible communication skills, where I listen to talk. When people are telling me something, I'm not giving them the stage. I'm on stage and I'm letting them ask their questions so that way I can continue to entertain. That's the framework I put in my head for me to help me understand the dynamic here. Because what I want to do is I want to give them the stage. That's how I have to frame it in my head. And I'm sure there's a book out there that says something similar to that somewhere. This isn't something that, I'm stealing from somewhere, like manager time versus maker time. I got that from Alex Hormozy. Not sure where he got it from. Maybe it's some labeling in a practice that he came up with on his own, or maybe it's something that a coach talked to him about and he tweaked it to be his own. I don't know, but I know where I got it from. And everything that I do and say isn't isn't something that I'm not trying to take credit for it. I have been influenced by somebody. Therefore, by my adopting whatever action, that is exactly what I am carrying on that work. Fire was the first, like, one of those things, like the wheel or whatever you want to say, was the first one of those things that we didn't invent, but we figured out and we influenced others, and that's what we do. We share the knowledge. And God, when I was growing up, there was so much knowledge not being shared. In school, they talk surface level at these things, but nobody goes deep because you're not at home with us all day, every day. We're not getting through to children other than, here's the curriculum. You have to know this stuff. If you don't know it, you pass. If you do know it, great, you go to the next. But we're not looking at what's this kid's learning style. Let's document that. That should affect his grades. So he does this on a written test. He gets this kind of weighted grade due to him or her having this learning skill. All I'm getting at is we're all capable of knowing and learning much, and you're passing that on. You are influencing the next generation. And just like with our model at the business, if you don't know where your anchor is, if you don't know what it is you're working towards, how can you help somebody else get to their desired state if you yourself are not able to figure out your own desired state and work on ways of getting there? The objectives that you do, the matters that you take care of. Again, here at the Creative Tech, we have a very simple model as part of the baseline way we do things and the way we coach. We break things down based off of objectives and matters. You have to know your anchors, because you're going to be dealing with objectives and matters. Regardless if you like it or not, whatever you label them as, you're doing objectives versus matters. Okay, what's a matter? What's the matter? Is there something wrong? What's the matter? Is there an issue? Do you need help with something? Is there something that we need to get done? What's the matter? Having one label for anything that comes across your plate that's unexpected and something that needs dealt with instantly or as soon as possible. These are not things that we want to do and we're going to set it up and plan it out and execute and reanalyze and do it again until we get it right and get it done. It's not some big project. It's not some big thing. It's just, it's walking from point A to point B, from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And there's a chair in your way and you're walking from point A to point B, and that chair gets in your way. That's a matter. And it's how you deal with that matter. Now, if you don't know who you're trying to be, where you're trying to go, then you're not going to know how to deal with that chair when you get there. There could be frustration. You might stand there for a second because you ain't got nowhere to go. You know you're going from point A to point B, but there's no real reason to get to point B. You're just going there. So you just kind of stand there and you look at it. Or maybe you are in a hurry to get to B because you got to go to the bathroom or something. Who knows? There could be something in your way and you're in a hurry. And now, since it's in your way, or you just want to kick it out of your way, shove it out of your way, you just want to walk around it, what are you going to do? I mean, you could go straight to the point, but the chair, someone got up from the table and left it out of the way, and you can't get across unless the chair gets pushed in, or you could walk around it. Now, something's out of order there, and that's a matter. Just like in life, if you have to get something done and you're going from point A to point B and something gets in your way, do you just shove it out of the way and keep going? Or is it as simple as pushing the chair in and keeping it right so that way and you can go to point B, and that way that matter isn't still existing when you're done? How do you deal with that matter is what I'm trying to get at. And that matters. Because if you're good at dealing with matters, well, let's just not worry about objectives yet. Let's just focus on matters. because I help a lot of clients that help other businesses and people with matters. Whether it's I gotta get my taxes done, whether I gotta, I got a broken glass on my door, whatever it is, you gotta matter. And yeah, it's crazy seeing how people can deal with things. When someone shows up to a job site to fix a broken window, and they notice that all the windows are leaky and wasting lots of money for the homeowner, and if they show up to the job and they know their purpose and they know what they're trying to do, they might do a good job. But if they are trained, just do your job, and they just want to get back to the shop and they're just there to kill time and make their money, they just gotta get paid, so they're going to do the minimal. How are you coaching everybody? How are you when you hire them? Are you looking for someone that's actually going to understand that, hey, we're trying to make everybody that we interact with, we're trying to offer as much value as possible. We don't want to be annoying about it. It's not a checklist on your thing. We're not asking you to verify every house you go to's windows. We're asking you to keep an eye out. And if you see something that may add value to them while you're on site, other services that we do, are you aware of the other services that we do? How are you coaching your employees? How are you hiring the right people, or are you asking the right questions? Do you have the right motivators? If someone comes in and they are someone that typically is just, I'm here to collect a check, I'm on my free time, I'm gonna play on my phone as much as I can. If you're hiring people like that, because that's all you can, sometimes that's all you can do is hire, because of the price point that you're offering. What levers are in your control as a business? And again, as a modern workforce, we're looking for ways to empower people, not scare people into doing work. That's not, if you ever see that movie Hitch, and he's helping guys hook up with chicks, and he's doing it in the name of, he's actually legitimately trying to hook people up with, and there's that one guy in the movie, that asshole that's just, looking for tail and moving on. And that guy somehow used Hitch's credentials, and how that affected his brand, how it affected his life because of a misunderstanding, and somebody that threw out his name when he really had nothing to do with the guy, because that's not part of his culture. All I'm getting at is knowing yourself so you can be an influence, empowering others, learning things and how to deal with whatever matters you take care of. If you're good at taking care of matters and you know how to do it well, or identify matters and best way to take care of matters holistically, if you understand the entire mission of whatever it is you're working with, and that's what we're getting at here at the Creative Tech, truly opening up and understanding how to help somebody holistically. Now, I'm still learning myself. Even right now, I'm figuring out, I'm getting my own life together. I'm trying to get my businesses right. I'm trying to get my services right. I'm trying to get websites right and get them up, for crying out loud. I've been in business for 5 years. iCore is now 5 years old. 5. Creative Tech is not an official business. This is just a me thing. Right now it's living under the Rigid 6 umbrella. I want to create a third company called the Creative Tech. I don't know. We'll see. If they go under the iCore Group umbrella, because iCore is a DBA under the iCore Group. Rigid 6 is separate from iCore Group for reasons, and I've thought about merging them. I don't know. But having all this and learning what I'm learning, having a studio now, and getting it ready to start advertising. My Lord, talk about too much going on at once. All right, so we'll talk about focus, which is influence. We'll talk about empowering. I know I didn't really go over the intro like I normally do. I told you guys who I am, what this is about. Yeah. I will say that if it is confusing, because Creative Tech, just to go out here and throw this out here, I get better at it every time I say it. I'm not sure if I'll say it right now, but Icora has something called the Master Tech Plan. I've built all these systems working with all these and collaborating with all these awesome people that I work with. And it's not easy. Like, for instance, my partner Jay and I, we bump heads a lot. And there's days we're having really good days. We're on a high. That client really liked the proposal. They're going for the whole product. This is exciting. We have a current client that we're afraid to mix things because, anyway, bottom line is creative tech is it's something that we're doing to help Icora out. I want to brand. I want to help other businesses with their brand. I want to get good at social media. I want to get good at training people. I really want to do all these things. How do I do that, but not affect Icora's brand directly? At least not too much. I don't want to do it under Icora's brand. I want to have a separate brand for it because when we hit the ground running for Icora, I want it to be professional. I want to know exactly what we're doing. Like, I'm not doing social media for Icora yet. I don't have a website for Icora yet. We're preparing for all that right now, and how we create our sales funnel and how we start getting people, because I know we have a great product. I already know people are interested because our clients are just eating it up already. So how do I sell this? And we've been working on it for a few years now, and it's really exciting. That's why I wanted to start this channel, was to allow us to practice sessions. Hello. To practice communicating online through videos. Hello. All those things that we want to do, social media posts, networking events, and then posting and capturing those events as much as possible and making it look professional and clean and good and consistent to the external world. Making sure our internal systems, the way we communicate with our team, so when an account manager goes to a review with their clients, that they have all the notes there, they pull up the page, and it's a living website that as we're working and doing things, data is being fed to it. And when they sit down to do a review with somebody, they don't have to spend hours reviewing and pulling up everything and asking questions from text, like what happened in this quarter. Like, they have everything on a single dashboard, and they can review everything with the client easily. The client's environment has all their information and data, and we're doing things at such a high level. I mean, when you talk about running technology for a business and you got 100 people using this tech stack, I walk into ecosystems that are fragmented and busted and all over the place, and people paying for service, like the overlap in paying for services, and just what I think is a hot mess. But this business is doing well. They've been in business for years. They just can't get past that $2 to $5 million mark. And I'm looking at it like, there's so much we got to do. Let's get to it. And they don't know how to come together as a team and do objectives and matters as a team. So guess what? We got good at doing building systems to help their teams come together. We're in the process. I don't want to act like we've been doing it for 20 years. I started in 2019. We figured out the admin pipeline in 2023. It's still 2024. We're not that far into this, so we're getting way better at it. And I'm so excited about what we're building. So excited that in March of this year, I started this channel. Now, we're networking, and we're going to be helping throw this big event. And I don't have a website yet. That would be pretty smart to get a website up and doing that shit. But anyway. So all this I'm doing, when I do this event this quarter, I tell people if I get up and do a workshop, which I plan on doing, I got to get that put together. I'm going to work on that this weekend, actually. I want to stand in front of a bunch of people. There's going to be hundreds. I don't know. I mean, this is 3 floors. It's a fairly decent size event. You see, Duke Energy, all the hospital. Like, there's so many tech companies and P&G, Microsoft's sending some people here. Like, the panels we have are awesome, and I get to do a workshop and maybe even be on a panel for this event. I'm on the committee, and I'm helping build the resources that we're using to make sure that the event goes off without a hitch. Like, And there's so many people helping with this thing, and I'm watching it and I'm seeing this team. And yeah, it's not like I walk into a client and see such a hot mess and just want to get everybody going on objectives that matters. These guys are actually, they're doing objectives that matters, but it is fairly fragmented. They're not doing, to me, it doesn't feel like they're doing it as a centralized, like everybody is working together and seeing what everybody's doing. It feels like we got all these little siloed environments, which while I'm doing my thing over here, I need visibility, I need connection, I need all this, which everybody knows. So with such a fragmented ecosystem, they're still communicating, they're still doing it, and they're going to have a successful event whether I'm involved or not. I just want to make that clear. I don't feel like I'm coming in and saving the world here. What I feel like I'm doing is coming in and helping this amazing group of people. I'm going to help empower them even more so by giving them a great platform to just stay focused on the once you have your structure, once you have your foundation built, you get to throw up your walls. You can't change your foundation, you can't change your standards. If you really want to blow out that wall and repaint it, you need to go to the admin team and have that discussion. You just don't go off and do it, right? That's what I'm getting at is that teams are not communicating effectively in small business worlds because they don't know how to put the technology together and use it properly. If you're just texting everybody in a group and that's great, but how are you tracking the context of all those discussions? You should be working from your systems. And one of my favorite sayings is we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. Yeah. So that's what Creative Tech is. It's here to get good at framing, messaging, working our foundation to help others and empower others. Our foundation is the admin pipeline, the intranet sites, it's the objectives versus matters, it's managed versus provided technology, it's the tech stack, the data stack, the security stack galore. It's the hardware line of businesses and services. It's wellness checks, it's sessions, it's reviews, it's matters. It's the PSA and the ticketing system. It's our RMM software. It's Azure AD. Oh my God, there's so much to it. Yeah. All right. Visibility. Topic 2 on our agenda today is visibility. Being seen, being heard, being witnessed. Witness me. You're not going to be able to just be at your job and the world see you doing what you're doing and be like, oh, that's so awesome and sick, dude. That's cool. You have to put it out there. You have to find a way to get exposed, and it's up. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it. Is it bragging to show your work? Yes. And especially if you're doing it in a way that just says, hey, look at my work. If you're doing it in a way where you're saying, hey, look how I did this work. Here's how I did it. Maybe you can do it too. Being able to provide value to somebody, the way you frame things and talk to them. Like right now, I'm sitting here telling everybody that I enjoy helping others by empowering them. I would like to help others by doing that for you as well. So yeah. But visibility, putting yourself out there, there's different ways you can do that. Some of the ways I've been doing it is on LinkedIn. It's kind of crazy. I got LinkedIn Premium. I'm trying that out for a few months just to see, I want to see analytics. I want to see who's going to check out my thing. And it's pretty crazy too, because when you do message somebody, they're going to go look at your page. And it makes you want to make sure when they go look at your page, oh, is my shit legit? Is everything right? Is everything working? I don't get online very much. And I just sent somebody a message earlier this week saying, like on Monday, saying, hey, I would love to chat sometime. And they got back to me pretty quickly. It was like an hour or two later. I was long gone off LinkedIn by then. And 3 days later, I go back and I look and I see they're like, oh, yeah, I'm free on 8/1. Let's have a message. Well, I saw that message yesterday on 8/2. Yep. So I don't know, visibility. I feel like interaction, engagement may have been a better second title. Damn it. Anyway, in hindsight, I would have waited, and I wouldn't have waited until the last few hours to do the show. In fact, I was pretty impressed earlier today. I was streaming earlier while I was prepping today's show, and yeah, let's. So when I was prepping today's show, it was pretty awesome. I looked at the list of potential things. Influence stuck out at me right away because of everything that's going on and what we're doing and how I need to start posting every day next week for MidwestCon. And I put into the AI prompt, I put in that, here's today's session influence. I need the topics, the why, the how, the what. And it spit out damn near 60% of what I needed, 80% of what I needed. I had to correct it because it was giving me the why, how, and what for each topic. So it picked 3 topics, even after I updated it and told it, hey, topic 1 equals why. Topic 2 equals how. That's all I typed in, and it knew. I figured it would do 3 on its own and put the math together, and it did. Did a really good job giving me my 3 topics and wrote out the description. I had to update some of my documentation that it learns from to get it to stop doing a few things it's been doing consistently, and I found out that's because of my documentation is why it's fucking up. So that has been corrected, and I'm super excited about that. And the workflow for doing a show now literally can be done in 10 minutes to have the topics, the focus and topics. Now, I do want to do a few shows in advance and always have a few shows in advance. So that way, if I do want to take a break from having to grind show, yeah, we're going to get that done. And now with this AI tool, it's going to be so much easier. And you don't want to go too far ahead because you want to keep it relevant. Remember, we're going with what's relevant today. So once you have your framework and you can consistently do it, I have found that I can innovate so much more around. Yeah, I'm able to innovate so much more around my framework now, more freely and more confidently, and having better breakthroughs and getting more done because of my structure. So I am such a big believer in get your communication skills under wrap. You get that shit under control. And really what communication is that there's somebody else that needs to understand your thoughts and your way of thinking. And if you're not able to articulate and communicate to them what that is, that's a problem. So, yeah. Being visible, getting out there and networking. That's one way to get out there. Streaming online, engaging on social media. And not just being one-sided, not just putting stuff out there, but actually looking at other people that you engage with. Taking time. And this is why it's hard for me on Facebook to go through and engage, because there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of personal thises and that's. And I love partying. I love hanging out. I love having great times. Give me some great music. Give me some great vibes, some good music, some good friends, a fire, some good food, maybe a pool, volleyball, or something. Let's just get outside. Let's get our bikes. Let's go on an awesome bike ride. I'm not allowed to ride a motorcycle, so I'm talking about bicycles. Wife won't let me have a motorcycle. That's probably for the best. I'd kill myself. Anyway. Not intentionally. And, I do want to take a second out to say mental health. It's been There's there's a lot of work that I put into with my mental health. There's days that I'm down. There's days that I'm okay. Some days I feel on top of the world. And usually that scares me because I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, let's do a check here. Something's not right. Got a lot going on in life. Like don't let myself get too comfortable or feel like I'm too good here. You know, it's a lot trying to build something and have something to leave behind for your family, but also just to be present and enjoy the day-to-days of what we're doing. You know, could I have been more successful doing like a 20-minute show and keeping the focus? Like, I know this is how a session would go with me, by the way, because again, we already know what the end game here is for creative tech and what we're building. We're talking about influence right now. I'm bringing you guys up to speed where I'm at with things. We're talking about visibility right now, which is the second topic of the episode. The framework is a little bit messy. Everything's kind of all over the place, but we're on point. The way my brain works, I'm kind of all over the place, which is why I need as much maker time in my calendars versus manager time. If you don't know what that means, please feel free to ask. I'll explain it, or I don't know exactly where it is, but we will do a session on time soon. And if time was the focus of the session, we'd definitely be having a lot of talk around time. But right now we're talking about influence and empowering others. And how can you be visible? How can you put yourself out there? What am I doing to do that? In what ways have I seen improvements? That way, hopefully you can piggyback off that however you want. When I would start a job somewhere, I would see somebody doing their job, a trainer, and then you come back the next day, same shift, maybe they same workstation or whatever, but now you have a different trainer that day because the other person was off, and now you have this person. Well, this person's doing this other thing this different way, and you're like, well, I was told to do it. Oh, yeah, that doesn't really matter, and yeah, that's how they say to do that, but managers don't care if you do it this way, and I like this way because it's so much faster. Well, I actually do like that way, but not all of it. I only like that part of what you're doing. I still like what she showed me the other day, or he or she showed me doing this thing, but I do like that one thing that you did there. So the next day, you're doing your job, you're doing it the way the trainer showed you, except for this one little thing that you learned from the other trainer that they do something different, which is perfectly okay. No harm. Like, management doesn't care. It doesn't hurt the job anyway, but it's not the way the original manager showed you. Now, here's where things can get interesting. Why are you doing it that way? I didn't show you to do it that way. Well, yeah, the other trainer showed me. He's like, yeah, I know, but that's not the way that you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do it this way. Well, are we able to do it this way? I actually find it more comfortable and easier for me to do it this way. No, you cannot do it that way. This is the way where we're trained to do it. This is the way you'll do it. Now, a creative tech definitely wouldn't act like that manager was acting. And if you're a creative tech and you're in the shoes of the person working, and again, this isn't even a creative job. This is working at a factory putting boxes on a conveyor belt. And this is actually a true story from something I did in the past. And the way a creative tech would handle it, maybe stand up for themselves and say, listen, I understand that you're training me and this is how you want it done, but I also understand that there's going to be some flexibility here in me doing my job. And as long as this doesn't hurt anything, I'd prefer to do it this way. But if you're going to force me to do it the way you're telling me, I'll do that. But if I'm not required to when you're not around, I don't know if you can, I don't know how you expect me to stick to that. But I'm willing to do that to keep you at, like, that's one way to deal with it. Again, the chair's in between you and the thing, and how are you going to get around it? Or I could just, okay, yeah, no worries, I'll do it that way, and just ignore them and move on. And when they're not around, just do it however I want to, knowing what I know. It's that way, it's friction. How do I want to move forward with that? How am I going to influence this other person? How am I going to help them? Because honestly, the coaching that the person needs is, the manager is that, you're here to coach them and train them and to keep them aligned the best you can without friction, and make sure there's good job and quality work being done. And honestly, as a manager, if you really want things done that way and that's the standard, we can make that the standard. We can cut out the other trainer and correct them and whatnot. There's so many different ways to handle a situation. You have to know where you're trying to go to. You have to know those initiatives. You have to know where you're wanting to land in order to know how to answer and deal with the thing. I'm only here for the summer while I'm going to college. Do I even want friction? Do I want to influence this person? I'm not going to be here. I need my energy for at school so that way I can do good and get my grades, and I'm not going to waste energy helping these people. Or is that what kind of mindset is that to have? Anyway, everything you do, people are picking up on what you do, whether you're training them or not. Lead by example is what I mean by influence. Live by example. If you wake up and the first thing you want to do is hit the pipe, crush and snort some pills, play some video games and chill all day, like, probably not a very healthy framework. Probably not very. You're probably not going to have a whole lot of influence. Maybe to some people that enjoy getting wasted and playing video games, but yeah, like the rest of us out here living and experiencing life and going to, amazing ventures, just, it's sad to see people let themselves get consumed so easily by things. But hey, what can you do? We live in a very, very sad, oppressed society. All right. We had a show on collaboration on week 17, which was back in July. What was it? July something. Oh, come here, you. Yes, collaboration was done on July 13th. And the topics around were synergy, unification, and framework. Collaboration is huge to the creative tech because that's what it's all about. Your brand, your personal brand, that's how people will experience you. You might say your brand is super awesome and polished and clean and competing with this and upholding that, whatever you think your brand is. That's your ego for the most part. That's what you think you are. It's what people truly feel when they come around you. Do they feel empowered, or do they feel like you're bossing them around? For me, it's the latter. The way I communicate, I'm trying to empower other people and help them because, like, to me, they're part of my circle, part of my tribe, and the better the tribe, the better the people in the tribe, the better the tribe. Your tribe is only as strong as your weakest link, or whatever they say. So, giving them the stage. That's what I'm doing. I can't give you the stage right now because you're a camera. I'm like literally looking at a camera right now. Like, the lens on there, I can see the logo on there, the Sony logo. I'm not talking to a person. But if somebody does happen to come across this, you are who I'm talking to, not the actual physical camera right here. I'm talking to you to let you know that you have so much value, and you need to know what that value is. You need to get out there and collaborate. All right. Once you understand your personal brand, you have to practice. Once you understand your desired state for your personal brand, let's back up a little bit. If you're not happy with the relationships you have, the job that you have, and all these things, and you don't like how it's affecting your brand, there's something that you have within your control. Now, I don't ever suggest anybody just go try to you got to be careful because you can't just go buy a new brand. You can't just expect people because you changed your mindset that everybody else is going to follow along. These people have PTSD from the way you've acted. They're used to you placating them and ignoring them, and now that you're going to be trying to pay attention, don't expect their behavior to instantly gravitate towards, oh, you listen now, that's great. No. And you're going to get pissed because they're not giving you the exact results you want as fast as you want. So therefore, you're going to lose your shit, showing that you haven't made any progress. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah. The shit continues. So understanding your personal brand, being able to, I don't even know why I'm talking right now. I'm all about helping people with their personal brand figure out what it is they want to do and help them create systems and find initiatives to help them get to their desired state. When you collaborate with somebody else, your personal brand is going to affect that brand. Think about that. If you work at some crappy place and you want to go get a really nice job and you want to work with people that show up every day on time and they clock in and they enjoy working together and they have a good culture, and you get to leave at the end of the day and you're not going to be hassled or bothered, or maybe it's a fun job out in the field, or maybe you can be whatever you want to do. You want to go do that thing. Is your brand attractive to that brand? Is this brand going to be like, yes, we want to collaborate with you. We need employees. We have lots of problems that we need help solving. We're not shelling out money just so you can come here and make sure that you were here from the time you started to the time you finished. And yeah, you pushed the broom around because that's what you were hired to do. And now that you're gone and you spent the time here, we're going to give you a paycheck, even though you played on your phone the whole time. Like, businesses, a good company is going to vet and ask good questions. Are the questions good? If you're in an interview and it's like, how much does it pay? When do I get time off? And how long do I get for lunches? Like, no, that's you're not even watching this video because you just think this is some crackhead talking. This is for those that want more out of life, that know that nobody's coming to save them. Nobody's giving you any fucking thing. It's up to you to make it happen. Yeah. All right. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it. I've cussed like a sailor today. Oh, just thinking back about what I've talked about today. I know that I'm going to be somebody that talks a lot, and I've always dealt with rambling, and I'm trying to bring it all and keep it all together. I want this to be a loose. My sessions are loose. They've gotten better and tighter as I got my structure more and had breakthroughs and gotten better ways of getting through to people. So I'm getting better. My sword is getting sharper, and the skill with it is getting better. So I'm going to continue to work on it. These hour sessions, when I'm working with somebody with a focus that they have, trying to find 3 areas that they can focus on while they're working on their focus, 3 key areas of interest for their focus. And it's really been helping out tremendously. And then documenting where you are and what you're doing and what you're talking about and how it goes. And then coming back and saying, hey, did we have action items? Yeah. Where were we at with those action items? What do you want to do moving forward? I am somebody that facilitates and navigates journeys. All right. I'm not here to make your decision for you. I'm here to help you have everything laid out in front of you so you can make the best decision for you. Give you perspective. You don't want to just jump into everything on your own. Trust me, collaboration is where it's at. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. Everybody I talk to, I don't care who you are. I want an hour session with you because that gives me time to grow. We get to talk together. There's something unique about every single one of us. And I hope you get excited about this just as much as I do. I look forward to continuing this endeavor, trying to get my shit together. I didn't have an agenda even started for today. The show went really well. I am being really lax. I wish I would have put more time in today's show. I did create something for when we're starting shortly. I'm going to work on it a little bit. I was just playing around. I should have took that time to work on today's topic, but I didn't. So get over it. I don't know. I'm no Gary V. I'm no Tony Robbins. I'm no, Chris Do. I'm not a Simon Sinek. I'm not none of these, amazing influencers yet. And I don't even want to be like the best one. I just want to be, to me, it is an infinite game. I'm not here to compete. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to make it better. And again, don't compete, collaborate. The infinite game is way better than the finite game. Those of you out there playing the finite game in business, no, just stop. All right. We didn't talk too much about the show today. We didn't go into any of the metrics or show the worksheet or any of that stuff. I do want to get a website up soon. iCore is my main focus. Midwest Con. If you are a hacker, register now. $25,000 in prizes. This is no joke. We are hosting Midwest Con starting September 4th, 5th, and 6th. The hackathon, if you think you got the skills, register now. The hackathon begins August 24th and ends on September 4th. And on the third day, I believe it is, I don't want to say the schedule. I know the schedule is still kind of being tweaked. So time out on that. Bottom line is all my geeky friends, I think you're hackers. Put your money where your mouth is. Get hacked, mofos. All right. Thank you today. Thank you everyone for today's session. Again, my name is Joseph Sunderman, A Creative Tech, and this was a session on influence. And we really, really appreciate everybody. I really hope we get some sessions scheduled. Look forward to helping people out. Have a great rest of your weekend. Keep it heavy. Keep it real. Peace.